Action. Nevertheless, happy Valentine's Day to everyone, each of you. Today our next guest is Jeff Koons. I have a lot to say, actually, in regards of this phenomenal artist. I have a lot to say. Where can I start, or how can I get started? Okay. The conscious understanding of who you are and where you belong on this earth is very extremely crucial for not for the ephemeral and banal success, but for the conceptual success, that intellectual success that once we're gone, the works will remain and everyone will be able to celebrate and to share what that particular artist has left, for all of us. There's so many paths and labyrinths and to conquer in order to get to that point. In your life experience will become, for obvious reasons, the outcome of your work and your personality. Very simple. So Jeff Koons is the living proof of how much do you want it and how well developed your master plan is, and how early in your life have been preparing for that particular moment. And Jeff Koons is someone who knew everything at a very, very early age, extremely perceptive of his surroundings, and that and extremely well articulated to pass on his own information, perceiving the world around him. It's such a admiration to see someone that truly deserves all the glory and fame that he has been having throughout, decades after decades of exploring human and artistic, conceptual grounds, and always getting away with it. He has a very powerful machinery backing him up, and that's something it is so essential for a artistic strength. It's hard to describe, but anyways, he was a total daredevil from the very beginning, and he paid his dues in the most justified way. When he was very young, I've been reading some articles that he brought to the studio, watching documentaries. She brought Mary Boone to his art studio. In a very interesting way, he never, as I can perceive, he never was part of a movement. He was always his own island and his own mirror. Then, of course, he married the porn star, Italian porn star Cicciolina. He made this incredible photography, large-scale photography, being exhibited in the mid-80s, and but in a very interesting way, all his essence, all his latest works are an absolute evolution of his earliest works. I only made this kind of analysis of studying or watching documentaries from all these various artists of how they were shown to the world by his first works, and then how they went absolutely 180 and then they kind of vanished. And that is a catch-22, because you can make a parallel of, you know, how a musician gets discovered by playing a certain kind of music, and then when he's ultra famous, he goes the opposite way, and sometimes it works if you have true talent, and sometimes it doesn't work because you got lucky in the first, you know, lucky shot by being discovered and being suited for what you were doing at that particular time. But you only just got lucky. So you just don't really understand your own essence. You just understand this outfield. See what I mean? So you're not really connected to that conceptual internal lineup of yourself. And that is what Jeff Koons has inside of him. I find it fascinating when he is being interviewed and he breaks down with the most beautiful and well-articulated, you know, tongue, what the sculpture reflects and what it means. But he's so intelligent of giving you the most brushable meaning of the work that you are admiring. And it could be either reading between lines or try to really understand what the actual sculpture or painting it's all about. That is a magic. That is the beauty of creating works, and to give everything away from an art piece or film or even music, it's what will always create the separation between different circles to understand what you have in front of you. And in those levels we enter the auction houses and why people pay higher, you know, extremely high amount of money. You know, like, can I say, some people definitely see the future and live in the future. And that is a beautiful catch-22. But Jeff Koons, I was in a very good state of mind back in 2015, 2016. And I was selling my works in Chelsea. It was already a great, beautiful word of mouth about my presence. But somehow people, for some reason, people would not really, excuse me, the right people that I needed to approach me would not approach me. And it definitely bothered me, but I tried not to pay attention. I had extremely bizarre, you know, strange encounters with people from certain galleries, and I definitely ignore them because I had to. I didn't want to be perceived as, you know, as someone without self-control or trying to really get my point across about what I was bringing onto the table. And one day, my first, when I felt that I was finally ready, because you just know it. You know that you are ready. I said to myself, I have to meet, Jeff Koons. I just have to meet him. And he, Larry Gagosian was having an exhibition with his latest work, 2000, I believe it was 2016, 2015. And I brought this very strong works with me. There's one thing that it didn't cross my mind, that I was so wrapped up in my own head, my own bubble, that I wasn't conscious enough that you should never do that. An artist who enters an art exhibition, dragging around his works under his arm or her arm, it's not a good idea. But I was so happy, and I was so driven by this energy that I was carrying on with me, that I said, I have to meet Jeff Koons. I have to. It was a painting installation that he was giving me, and it was amazing. It was amazing. So I'm standing with my rolls, and from the beginning, at the Gagosian Gallery, the assistant manager, this woman, I'm pretty sure that she sent the security guards to ask me, if everything was okay. So I was standing admiring the piece, and I was standing there for a long time, breaking down all the patterns and the information given by, the painting itself. And I was very calm, and I said everything is absolutely fine. Thank you. So the security guard, retreated, but they kept an eye on me throughout the whole evening. And I don't blame her. It was it's a pretty ballsy, attitude of mine to try to get away with that. Gallery owners are very aware that sometimes artists go to exhibitions to try to sell their works to the people around. I wasn't aware of that, because that wasn't my intention. I don't do those things. I mean, I might be selling my works in the streets, but I have my own clientele, I have my own, clients wanting to, buy from me. So anyways, so it was a little tense, to say the least. It was some little bit of tension. People were wondering about me, what this guy with the long piece of, roll of papers doing? And I just kept playing oblivious. I was in oblivious land. And I was having a good time. I was having a great time. Very quiet by myself. Jeff Koons' family was there. So I was just observing and taking it all in. He came by and started to give some autographs away to everybody. And by that particular time that you are witnessing and you are interacting with the toppest artist in the art world, living artist. And it's very striking. It's extremely striking. So I remember that he was asking for a pen to sign, and I gave him a little pencil to sign. Just like this one here. Just like this pencil here. So I said, I have this pencil. And he looked at the pencil and he smiled at me. I was kind of breaking the ice. And I said, I have this pencil you can use. So he was just very curious about, this individual, carrying his long, rolls of paper with him. It was pretty. So I guess people were very curious about what would happen to me without obviously paying attention to, the real artist, the true artist. So, so he kept on signing autographs, and I think he actually gave a little dissertation and answered some questions, I'm pretty sure. So the night, a couple of hours went by, and I stood by the entrance, not by the entrance of the gallery, but in the middle of the gallery, holding my rolls. And I remember that Larry Gagosian comes towards me, and he looks at me pretty pissed off. And then he looks at me, and then he turns around, gives me, his back, and he leans against the table. It was just right next to me. And I said, okay, that didn't go well. It didn't go as I planned. So I didn't pay attention, and I had to do what I had to do. I was on a mission, and that mission had to be fulfilled. So, but the main thing is just remain extremely neutral and not to force absolutely anything. Because the air was it was a pretty strong energy, to be super honest with you. It's a very strong energy. So, I believe that they call for the closing of the exhibition. And Jeff walks towards me, and he says, "What do you have in those rolls of paper that you're carrying?" And I said, "Jeff, it's such an honor to meet you, and these works are for you. I made these works for you. There's another work that is for Larry Gagosian, and the other work is for you. It's a gift." And I explained to him that I wrote down, this is a gift from Serge Miquel to Jeff Koons. And same for Larry Gagosian. They were pretty long piece of paper like this one here. So he accepted and he took the rolls, and everybody was watching. And the only I believe proof that I have is that someone took a shot of that exchange, and it's somewhere. Someone has it. Which is so cool to know. But he accepted the gift, and then I left the gallery, and I could not even believe what just happened in that particular second. I knew barely then that I was ready, and I have touched the top of the top. And these people know if you're ready and if you're not. This is the same way I feel now when I see others around me. It's very interesting and complex. So time went by. Time went by. Maybe a year went by. 2017. No, I'm sorry, 2016. And I was selling my works at Meatpacking, because I had this plan of conquering every single neighborhood in the city. I started in Soho, then I moved to Meatpacking, and then went up to Fifth Avenue and 75th Street. So I was selling a few works in Meatpacking. I went back because I had an amazing experience in Meatpacking also. So all my, how I got to discover myself. So, so these two girls were walking by, and one of the girls says to me, "Are you Serge Miquel?" Because she was checking the works, and I go, "Yes." yes, I am. And the girl says back to me, because Jeff has your work taped in his studio, the one that you made for him. Because I work for Jeff. That's what she said to me. And, well, that was a dream. That was a dream. See, those are the experiences that keep on feeding someone like me. Someone who chooses not to stop developing myself as a person, as an artist. Because if you get involved and entangled with the wrong machinery, the wrong circle, besides wasting precious time, you simply lose yourself. And there's so many movies and there's so many biographies and biopics about artists, how they, know by recognizing, the good signs and the bad signs, and then how do you really obtain what you want so badly? And I guess I'm one of those. I guess I am. My personal life is extremely complicated. Someday I will share all of it with all of you. But and then the interesting friendship relationship that he has with Diane Whitmire Picasso, Picasso's daughter, granddaughter. That's another story. And I find it just magical. They are best friends, and they do a lot of collaborations and conferences, art conferences. But that is my take on my experience of how everything what I'm trying to say and to share with all of you all along, I'm trying to share with you. Never devalue yourself. Never. There is a process and there is a phase that you will devalue yourself all the way down. And many big masters did it, and they had to do it. It was just, they had to do it. I'm not comparing myself to them, but I can tell you that we hope that it's going to be only a very short and quick phase of devaluing yourself, devaluing your works. Because you have to take care of yourself. So, but in the long run, it definitely creates a very delicate mental, emotional, psychological unease. of the story, there was a happy ending because Jeff took home my works and then he displayed them in his art studio. And that means, to me personally, more than selling this work for $1 million, which it will happen, but I am not going to be here to see the results. But it will happen. That is a fact. So thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day. Celebrate and have a beautiful day.